Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a Pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Dumb yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the Burgh with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew.
Yeah, everybody, welcome. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 740 of the Two Dumb Yinzers, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It is the Friday installment of the show. I'm glad to see everybody this morning. Glad to see everybody here. We're just waiting for one more guy, but let me just get started with what's going on. Hey, Finch, how you doing today, brother? Nice seeing you back on the show. How you doing, man?
I am doing fine. Let's talk, guys.
All right. Mike, with, I got a lot of questions because I'm looking at you right now.
Yeah.
And I noticed, the first thing I noticed right off the top of my head is all your hair is gone. You went ape shit and shaved everything off.
I did. I get in one of those modes where I feel like I have to start fresh. Everything gets out. It's this time of the year. I get itchy. I get irritable, and then I freak. I go for a trim, and next thing I know, I'm looking like this.
You look like a straight up bowling ball. I got to tell you.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's no.
No, you look fine, man. I do know that we do have some plans because again, your mullet, your skull, I'm sorry, has become such a big thing here on the show. But you do have an answer for that, Mike. But I don't want to ruin that for anybody. But I just did notice today that you're looking extra shiny and looking
shiny.
Good for the weekend, man. Any big plans?
No.
No.
Well, I bought a gazebo over like my vacation from work, and it's rained every single day. And now it's not going to rain this weekend, so I'm finally going to build my gazebo.
All right. Hey, that sounds like fun. Let's get this show started, guys. This is Mother's Day weekend. A lot of things going on this weekend, to be honest, inside and outside of sports. I'm going to talk about what Finch got going on. Also, we have a new debut of a show tonight right here on the network, and we will get into that a little bit more as the time goes on. And then also, again, Mother's Day, everybody. But I think the big story, guys, is the American Pope that got selected as the Pope. And I had to laugh because Finch did have something up on Facebook earlier that made me laugh. And it was like the Pope got selected faster than Shador Sanders did.
Yes.
And the Pope usually takes forever,
Yeah. If it one more day, Mel Kiper Jr. was going to demand an investigation as to why Shador Sanders was not the new Pope.
Well, look at it this way. If he wouldn't have got selected the Pope, he could have always sued, because Shador Sanders is in fact suing for $100 million for severe emotional distress. But we'll get more into that later, guys. Good morning to John on the board. John says Mike is more bald. Finchy is gaining weight. Both must be wanted by the FBI. I got to be honest, guys. This has got to be the
camera angles, dude. It's the camera angle.
I was going to say when we get started, and then I got disrupted by the ugly on the screen. I was going to say, isn't this the best looking group you've seen on one screen at one time? And then I looked at the guys around me and I said, I'll start with the Pope. John says the Pope is a Steelers fan and will bless the draft next year. Hey, you know what? Somebody's got to get a hold of the football god and say, things have been sour here.
He's from Chicago, though. He's a Bears
He is from
fan.
Chicago.
Oh, Tim's going to love this one.
He can bless. Hey, the terrible towel was there. I didn't see any Bears paraphernalia at Vatican City. I saw a terrible towel.
Because there is no Bears memorabilia and paraphernalia.
And you know what? I saw that too. How cool was that? How cool was that terrible towel shows up everywhere. It showed up at the Vatican while they were selecting the
It is
Pope.
a divine object.
It's divine.
Like I said on Twitter, we are the best traveling fans in the world for a reason.
Absolutely.
It's a home game everywhere we go. We were there not only repping the Steelers, we were repping the good old US of A, electing the new Pope, baby.
That's right. I do want to say good morning to Derpy. Derpy, I thought I was looking for you. I was going to tell you that I was looking for you on the side of milk cartons, but you know what? Here you are. You're not missing. You're right here. Welcome back, Derpy. How you doing today, man?
I am doing great. Um, Mike, are you still a pope for us today?
I am always a pope.
Hey, it's the Pope. Finch, I know you remember this show.
Actually,
Go ahead. Say what you will.
I hate everything!
This is actually, everyone keeps saying he's the first American pope. That is wrong. That is wrong. Scotty was the first American pope.
That's right.
But Scotty,
If you don't know,
That is
Scotty
true.
doesn't
Scotty
know.
doesn't know.
Scotty
That is true.
Oh, the roof is on fire.
The roof. Great movie.
Oh, we don't need no water. Let that mother.
They are referring to the Euro Trip movie, which was one of my favorite movies ever. I'm going to be honest.
R.I.P. Michelle Trachtenberg. R.I.P.
Absolutely, man.
R.I.P.
Absolutely.
was
Worst
for her.
twin ever. John
Did
says
you
holy
play
water.
that, Finch?
What's that?
The beep?
Pretty sure that was you, dude.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was, man. I didn't hear nothing. I had Finch muted, actually.
I hate everything!
Oh, Jesus God.
And you know what? We are going to get into a little late draft talk because you know what? I didn't get a chance to talk to Derpy since the draft in depth, and I know that we got a few
I
guys
hate
from his
everything.
college, and we're going to talk a lot about that because I mean, how upset can he really be? Because his guys did get selected to the Steelers, two of them at least. So we will talk a little bit more about that as the show goes on as well. John says I'm smoking weed called Marilyn Monroe. It comes in a package with two rather large buds.
That's apropos.
I like it.
Just be careful. Don't fall asleep. You probably won't wake up.
And that's out in Vegas. That's at Vegas.
Yeah.
Did you have Vegas weed when you were out there, Finch?
No comment.
Okay.
No comment.
I mean, it's totally legal. You're not throwing yourself under the butt. But, well, I don't know. I don't know what you got into. Again,
That smile says.
what happens in
lot.
Vegas stays in Vegas, and maybe that's what I'm reading on his face. So let's move on, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 740. Mike, the show is almost as old as you. 740. Come on, 10 more shows. We're going to be 3/4 of the way to 1,000. We have the 4-year anniversary of the show coming up here in just a little over about 6 weeks. So a lot of good things going on, Mike. And again, this is Mother's Day weekend. So let's remember our mothers heading into the weekend, and let's maybe get them some flowers. Finch, Derpy, Mike.
I was actually thinking about taking my mother to actually go flower shopping for her garden. That way she can get what she wants.
That sounds fun, but you know what? It'll be good. It'll be nice for her. She'll have fun. And she'll get her
she'll
flowers.
Yeah,
And she'll get whatever she wants for her garden. Guys, let's get into it, man. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. Heading into the weekend, a lot of events going on, sporting events and such going on from the Pittsburgh area. But I want to start with the football news, guys. The NFL. So next week, this is the scoop. So next week, the NFL plans to announce dates for the international games played in the NFL next week, and that's going to be on Tuesday. So that's the release, the 13th. It's going to include every game outside of this country, of course, including the first ever regular season game played in Dublin, Ireland, at Croke Park by the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. So that's going to be released on Tuesday, and then Wednesday is the day that they're going to release all the schedules. So this time next week, we'll certainly know every team that the Steelers are going to be playing, when they're going to be playing, where they're going to be playing. But it starts Tuesday with the releasing of the international dates, guys. Wednesday, 8 o'clock, schedule release. But on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there will also be random games released. You see how they do this? There's like this Thursday night game is going to be between the Ravens and the Steelers. So they might release that information between Monday and Wednesday. But officially, Tuesday, the international dates, and Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m., the NFL schedule will be released. So we're certainly looking forward to that. We'll be getting into that heavily next week and trying to figure out what our Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do in this 2025 season, leading up to a very, very interesting and important NFL draft right here in Pittsburgh next year, guys. So it all starts now. The rookies are at camp, waiting on a schedule, and we're only about 80 some days outside of preseason games in the NFL, guys. So it's going to be here before you know it. John says Finchy had it all here, plus midgets and chicken waffles. I believe that.
You
There's
gotta have
nothing
the
I don't
chicken
believe
waffles.
about that.
There were no midgets, but there were definitely chicken waffles.
I would expect to see more
I can
midgets
tell.
than chicken waffles, but you know what, Finch? I've never been there. I take your word.
They have a really good Denny's on Fremont Street.
Do they really?
I liked it.
Is it
Cheapest
better than any
breakfast.
Denny's?
Best Denny's I'd ever been at, I will honestly say.
And you know, Finch, he's not. I've had breakfast with Finch before, and he's anything but normal when it comes to his breakfast food. Finch and I went to an Eaton Park one time with some people we worked with, and I've never seen somebody put so much syrup.
I put syrup on everything.
Oh
back
my
then. Yeah,
dude!
Yeah, back then. Yeah.
You know
It was a
what?
bowl of syrup with things in it, basically.
What's funny is I'm normally not that way. Just that particular
Just
day.
that particular time that we
It
went.
went that way. Yeah. I just
Like,
normally
if
I'm
I'm
not
making-
that crazy with syrup.
Yeah, if I'm making pancakes and I got a little bit of scrambled eggs and some sausage there, the sausage is definitely getting some of that maple syrup. Maybe the eggs too, just the tip.
Mike,
Just
and you
a
know
little
what?
tip.
That's not abnormal. It's a very normal thing, and I do that as well. But if you would have seen the amount of syrup
Yeah, it was the
that
amount,
Finch used
okay.
on his food, it was unbelievable.
It was like
Uh,
swimming in.
It really
It
was.
was. I remember. Yeah.
But it
Okay,
was
yeah,
all
okay,
good.
that's a bit. That's a bit extreme, even for this fat guy over here. You know,
Mm.
I was a much fatter guy back then.
Finch is looking good. Finch,
Yeah. I'm a much fatter guy now.
Finch learned to skateboard. Finch learned to skateboard, and all of a sudden he lost a lot of weight, and now he
true.
looks great, Finch. So keep it up, brother. You look fantastic, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's move on, guys. Today is, of course, the rookie camp starting for the Steelers. A lot of people at the rookie camp. It's not just 7 guys, of course, as one would suspect. It is a lot of people. It's invitees. It's the rookies. It's a lot of different guys. So, Mike, I'm going to get through some of these names of some people that are participating at camp. As soon as I get Richard and Tortilla here on the board, I do want to say good morning, fellas. Always great to see you on the show. Welcome back. Richard says good morning. Full house. That's right, baby. We have Danny Tanner to my left. We have Michelle right below me. And Finch, you could be DJ. How's that? I've been pretty hard on Finch so far this morning, so he could be DJ, which is probably the better of the group. But here we
No
are.
way.
full
I am
house.
definitely Uncle Jesse.
Uncle Jesse.
I play the guitar.
Now you do play the
Hey, fair
guitar.
enough.
Tortilla says Nutella waffles are the way to go. Anything Nutella.
That's a game changer. I never thought of that.
Mm. So, guys, here are some of the people that are involved in the rookie camp, of course, which started today on the south side. Of course, these are some of our draft picks and more, guys, and some free agents that we picked up after the draft. Will Howard, of course, is at the rookie camp. Him and Caleb Johnson, Sebastian Castro, kicker out of Pitt, Ben Sauls, he is there as well. Derpy, Jack Sawyer. I like to hear. I can't wait to get Derpy's take on
Oh, I
some
can't
Jack
wait.
Sawyer, to be honest, because I'm not quite sure what to make of the guy. And Derpy watches these guys every week, and I can't wait. I'm going to be honest. Also, Dante Kent, the cornerback and punt returner, Mike, the 7th round draft pick for the Steelers. Carson Bruner, the son of Mark Bruner. DJ Thomas Jones, a fullback. Blake Mangelson, a defensive lineman. Aiden Williams, a guard. Yahi Black, defensive lineman. Rock Taylor, the wide receiver. Keshawn Williams, the wide receiver. JJ Galbraith from he's the tight end that they signed. And also Derek Harmon, Derek Harmon. And I got to be honest with you, I've seen this morning, fellas, that people are, a couple sources at least, are predicting that Derek Harmon might be a front runner for the defensive rookie of the year, Mike.
Yeah, I saw that. If he can play like that, that's phenomenal. But
That would be great.
That would be phenomenal. But I think that's a reach right there. A D lineman in the 3-4 being up that high for defensive player of the year, you have to have a truly remarkable season to have that happen. That's setting the bar way too high for him. Like way too high. I'm hoping better than Larry Ogunjobi for his rookie year.
I'm hoping better than any of them guys we got in the middle. But Marvin Liel and the other one that I
Louder
can
Milk and
who's the other one? Not Liel, but Benton. You know, you got to do better than these guys. And you know what? And also with a declining Cam, I mean, you would think at his age he'll certainly be declining. He had a good season last year. I'm not going to take that away from him. But in getting and Larry Ogunjobi not being on that line anymore, you hope to see great things. And again, I'll accept a really good season. It doesn't have to be a rookie of the year season.
God, no.
If he comes out and is able to step into the starting position and hold his own, that would be plenty enough for me, Mike and Finch and Derby. But some more names, guys, you may recognize on the attendee list of rookie camp. Eddie Faulkner's son, Eddie Faulkner Jr., my DB, he's also at camp, along with some other names you may probably never heard of, but I'm going to give them to you anyway. Seth Morgan, Jaden Johnson, PJ O'Brien, Mickey Victor, Ridge Textada, Hollis Mathis, Montana Craig, Trey Sermon, Marion Dollison, and many, many more. I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to go through all these. There's a lot of them, but a lot of the names that you would recognize were the names that were already announced, guys. I'm looking down through them, and we also have a Manning, not to be confused with the Mannings, but we do have an offensive tackle, Liam Illam. I don't know how you pronounce this name, but nonetheless, it's ILLM Manning. If Finch, you're a pretty smart guy. If you could pronounce that for me, I would.
That sounds like an extension for like a website, like footballplayer.illm.
Right. And there's a bunch of guys. So there's a lot of guys down at the south side getting ready, participating. I'm going to turn over to Derpy, though. Derpy, my friend,
Beep.
what's your? Of course, we may have the quarterback of the future out of Ohio State. We don't know. I mean, a lot of things still in play here. I think we are in the middle of a tear down rebuild. But that's an odd question. On the
Right, this showing up from that's a bot question, and it's not shown on YouTube. So let's just not read that one.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah,
And take your bot bullshit out of here, huh?
yeah.
What the hell kind of name is that? Olinade? What's the name of that?
I have no
Pronounce
idea.
that, Finch. You're smart. What's the person's name?
Alhuhanade?
Yeah.
Alhuhanade?
Why don't you F off? Alhuhanade?
Yeah.
Anyway, right. Kenneth Jones. Okay, it is a person. I mean, they're saying, dude, I was just asking. I think it's terrible. I think that it goes on everywhere around this world right now. And if people are really, really that into being pissed about it, maybe go do something about it. That's my feeling on that particular category. I don't like it. It's been around forever, since day one, but it's going on everywhere around the planet right now, and it's a serious problem. And if you feel that strongly, go tackle and go take care of issues and get involved. That's all I have to say. I'm not a fan. Kenneth Jones, I do want to say welcome to you on the board as well, my friend. Good morning, sir. Kenneth says time for all of Lee and Loudermilk to go. Okay, I'm seeing Lee and Loudermilk. Yeah, it's about time. I mean, it's been time for Loudermilk to go for some time. He's been a depth player. Mm-hmm. That's what you're going to get. Maybe just bringing a depth player that's a little bit younger, get a little bit more spunk out of them, guys. But also, Kenneth Jones goes on to say, time for Patterson to retire again.
Yes, he can. Cordella Patterson can go. He can go. Bye. Thank you for your service. And go and potentially go into the Hall of Fame as a kick returner, because your stats, say you should. But yeah, hang them up. You're not doing much for the Steelers right now.
So there you go, guys. We are a lot of things going on. We don't know what we're going to be looking at, guys, when the regular season starts. The starters from last year. Let's take a look at the starters from last year, fellas. Your quarterback, of course, was Russell Wilson. Your running back, of course, was Najee Harris. And your wide receiver, of course, number one was Pickens. All three of them guys gone. All three of those guys. Were we not satisfied at all with Wilson, Harris, or Pickens that we got rid of them? And of course, obviously the George Pickens situation came a little later, and there was more to it. Mm-hmm. But guys, do we feel that we're better off with Mason Rudolph, Jalen Warren, and DK Metcalf, or do you think that we're going to be about the same if in fact that is the top, the three that we're going to put out there? Mike, did we improve any? And again, and listen, I really do believe that we are rebuilding it, and we're in a semi teardown phase right now.
Yeah.
But Mike, does those three guys in those three positions that replaced the three that we had last year? Again, Wilson, he threw for 2,482 yards. Harris ran for 1,043 yards. Pickens received 900 yards. Again, Mike, I'm not expecting a lot out of our Steelers this year.
Yeah.
I think they're really preparing for this draft. But do you feel that we're better off, the same, or worse than we were this time last year, going into the season with, again, Mason Rudolph, Jalen Warren, and DK Metcalf, opposed to the three guys I just named?
I think right now we're kind of straddling the line between the same and just a little bit worse off. Because I think it's an upgrade from DK Metcalf to George Pickens. DK is prone to like some kind of, over aggressiveness, but he's not going to take plays off. He's not going to be late to games. He's not going to, try and fight fans at the end of a game. So, I think it's an upgrade there at the receiver position. Quarterback, even though Russ is a little bit older, Mason's shown flashes, but it's only a handful of starts and he's played some bad games too. So I think it's a little bit of I think it's a downgrade there. And running back could potentially be a push because not just Jalen Warren, but Caleb Johnson too. So it's like that fine line between the same and maybe a little step back, but that little step back could lead to a brighter future. Because like you said, we're loading up for the draft and rebuilding and maybe not tanking, but willing to sacrifice a few games this year for betterment of the team.
One thing you got to remember as well, guys, Najee running the ball half of the time was able to pull 1,000 yards in the past couple of seasons. Is Jalen Warren going to be able to pick up that load and run the ball half of the time and be able to be the 1,000-yard runner of the group? I sure hope so, because that's the role he has to fill. Mm-hmm. And of course, our rookie's going to basically take the role that Jalen Warren took as a rookie, at least. Mike, so those things are all things that kind of have to happen to even keep our head above water at this point. I'm convinced that the Steelers. I'm not buying Super Bowl tickets at this point, not for this season by any means. And Mike, and we're going to get into a couple things here just in a little bit that's going to show how a bad draft can turn things, what it can do to a team. We're going to go over a recent draft and look at where all those players are now and see just how fast this thing can get pushed down the road with, not getting the right players, guys. Also, Richard says Wilson had to go with his play the last 5 games. 007, what's up, brother? 007 says Rock Taylor's going to be the dark horse. I hope you're right. I like a guy named Rock. I do. I got to be honest.
Right? Yeah, if he can be that training camp surprise the way Jalen Warren was and Fast Willie Parker, oh God, that's a blessing in disguise right there.
Absolutely, man. Ken Jones says you will be surprised at what we do this year. I think a touch better, especially defensive line. Warren being the guy will definitely be great. I agree, Kenneth, and I can't wait to see that play out. But again, I'm curious. I mean, it is an aging Cam. It is a rookie, and whoever else they line over on the other side, and it's going to be interesting to see how it improves. But I do agree. I mean, it's going to certainly help down the road, maybe year 2, year 3, get some dominant performance by Harmon. But even if he, like I said, if he holds his own as a rookie, I'm going to be happy with that. He also goes on to say, Richard does, I feel a little better, less drama with this group so far. That would change if Aaron Rodgers signs.
Yeah.
Tortilla goes on to say Rudolph is at least a better passer than Fields. So interesting comments early on the show today. Derpy, I'm going to come to you, sir. Give me the rundown on Jack Sawyer, drafted out of the Ohio State Buckeyes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. What can we expect to see out of him?
No, I think you can expect him to make plays just as much as TJ Watt does.
Do you think he's as good as Nate Herbig?
Yes.
Nick Herbig, I'm sorry. You do? You think he's as good as Nick Herbig? That's another thing I can't wait to see with this group of rookies. I want to see with this Jack Sawyer, because I keep hearing comparisons to Herbig and Watt, and I want to see if he's able to bring it. Mike, you are a Big Ten guy. You've seen this guy. Mm-hmm. Is this what you get from Jack Sawyer as well?
Yeah, and excuse me, and he showed up at big times in the big moments, especially in that playoff run. That really solidified him to where he was. His draft position that helped him a lot. I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't think he's going to be a replacement for TJ Watt, but I think what he will provide is that little spark plug off the bench. Someone needs a break, he can come in and make plays. I don't think he's going to be an every down player, and I think he's going to be better against the run than TJ Watt is, where he's not going to try to rush the quarterback every play like TJ Watt. I think he's going to be a nice rotational piece, nice depth piece to have.
Finch, I want to ask you a question. Let me, you know what? Yeah, let me ask Finch. I'm going to go into this is a group, the 2022 draft 3 years ago. And on the show, Mike always says, you know, give it about 3 years. That's when you're really going to know what you get from a draft. Let's take a look back when we were building this team 3 years ago, how we drafted, how it turned out, where those players are now, and what you guys think of the 2022 draft class. Of course, the often controversial one, I'm even going to just take the shortest amount of time because Kenny Pickett obviously speaks for itself. That's number one. He's in Cleveland. Let's go to number two, guys. The number 2 pick in that particular draft was George Pickens. Kenny Pickett was the first pick. George Pickens was the number 2 pick, who also is no longer with the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore, of course, being traded to the Dallas Cowboys this week. But let me move on. Mike, DeMarvin Leal, number 3. That was the 3rd pick that year. So right now, KP, GP, and Leal. How you feeling about this draft so far, Finch?
Not benefiting us this year, that's for sure.
And this was, and again, this is how important building the team is. I mean, if this was your building, what is this team doing? What is this draft doing for us right now? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like the Steelers are taking a page out of the Pirates playbook, right? Let's trade these guys away who are playing well now and get their high value, even though they have problems getting, you know, a couple picks for Pickens, for example, which could help us in the future. But yeah, that seems to be the playbook right now with what we have and what they're doing going forward throughout this season.
You know, on the topical level, it sure does look like that, Finch.
I
don't want to say that that's what's happening, but
no,
boy, it sure
that's a giant insult what I just said to the Steelers and to Omar Khan. But it's that like mentality, and it has worked. Moneyball, right? Like it's worked before. Get all the value you can and then put it together and go for a big run. In baseball, that does work. In football, it's a little bit different, but it is the mentality right now. And either way, as long as the coaching staff is still there, that has been there for the last 17 years, the longest tenured head coach in all of North American sports, expect to win 9 games and barely miss the playoffs.
And that's kind of what people, you know, I'm not getting any more. I'm not getting any less. And if people are going less, it's maybe a game or 2 less because of just all the uncertainty. Of course, there's no cohesiveness in a lot of areas, and that's something you have to build when you're working a bunch, you know, amongst a group of other people. Finch, you know, in your job, Mike, you know, everybody, you have to be able to be a good teammate, and you have to be able to learn to work together. So we will learn if that is going to be the case here in Pittsburgh. Let me get to the the 4th pick of the Steelers in the 2022 draft. Of course, let me recap real quick. Kenny Pickett was 1, George Pickens was 2, DeMarvin Leal, was number 3. Calvin Austin, this guy, Calvin Austin III, was a guy that I liked from the very beginning because I heard how pissed off Baltimore was that we drafted him. They were literally outside the door bitching and swearing as it went on, and people caught this, and it was awesome. The fact that we stole him from Baltimore, and the fact that he's still involved, and the fact that he's probably the number 2 at this point, number 3 at the lowest, I think that he is certainly the biggest piece. But let me continue, guys. Still a few more names in this draft. The 5th pick of the Steelers in the 2022 draft, again, 3 years ago. Let's see how this is stacking up in the building process, guys. The next pick was Connor Hayward. A little bit of a utility knife, but we could do without Connor Hayward, right?
Yes, very much so. We could do without Connor Hayward. He made a couple plays, but none of them were earth-shattering plays, and you know he barely gets onto the field. So yeah, we could have done a whole hell of a lot better than Connor Hayward.
We got 2 more guys, 2 more picks from that particular draft, 2022 Steelers draft, guys. The next pick was Mark Robinson, who was a running back, switched to inside linebacker, and had ample amount of time to make that move. And if you're not going to be able to make the move after 3-4 seasons, you might as well go back to playing running back. I mean, what's the guy going to do? Get shit out the bottom of the league and never got to play his position of strength. Mark Robinson, guys, in my opinion,
been like a special teamer, right?
He's been a special teamer.
That's pretty much where I hear his name is that he makes special team plays.
And the guy could hit. There's no 2 ways about it. The guy's
he blows people up. Yeah.
Mark Robinson, I do believe, just by some of the draft picks and things that are going on, I believe he might be on his last leg here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Again, 3 years after he's drafted. And guys, finally, the quarterback that we drafted last that particular draft in 2022 is Chris Oladokun, who right now is with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't even feel comfortable saying that name.
Maybe we should get Oladokun to come back and
he
say
should
that
pronounce
name.
that name.
Yeah, exactly. Let him take the hit.
Guys, but that is the draft of 2022. Let me just kind of go through it one more time. Kenny Pickett, who's in Cleveland right now, George
Tiny
Pickens,
hands.
who's in Dallas right now, Tiny Brain, DeMarvin Leal, Tiny Game, he's still on the team. Calvin Austin III, he's just a tiny dude.
He's good. I like him.
Of this group of 7 fellas, gentlemen, I'm sorry, I like Calvin Austin. I think he's, of course, I think obviously the best person in building this team back up. Mike, I would have said George Pickens 2 days ago. You had asked me this, but of course, a lot of the most recent issues with him and the Steelers sent him to Dallas in a trade. So let me start with you, Mike, and I'm gonna go around the horn here. 2022 draft. Again, this is how you rebuild through the draft.
Yeah.
Take me through the 2022 draft and tell me what exactly we have here.
We have a very good number 3 wide receiver in Calvin Austin. So, because last year in his first full year of action, his production jumped from 180 yards in 2023 to 548 yards last year, 4 touchdowns. I like what we're getting out of Calvin Austin. That was a good pick. You were hoping, if George Pickens stayed around and Calvin Austin, this would have been a damn good class. Even if everyone else kind of fell through, you would have 2 very productive receivers. But to only have 3 players left, one of them being an actual contributor, this was a terrible draft. You missed on your quarterback. Your 3rd round pick was a complete bust. Your 7th round pick was a bust. Oladokun didn't even make it out of training camp. And, and then Kenny Pickett we all know the story there. So this was a big, fat, terrible draft.
Before I pass it off to Finch, I'm gonna pitch him the ball. But let me catch up on a couple of these comments real quick. Kenneth Jones says, when Watt and Herbig teach Sawyer the hand fighting, he will be stellar.
I hope so. I hope so.
like
man.
that.
I hope I'm wrong in my evaluation of him. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm rooting
And
for
then
the
he
kid.
follows that up by saying Calvin Austin has certainly been a steady contributor. I don't think anybody disagrees. I love Calvin Austin.
I
love him.
Like his return ability as well too.
Finchie telling the truth. That's what John says on the board. And then also Kenneth comes back and says, 1 out of 7 ain't bad. Oh, wait, that does suck. Kenneth says, Finch, let me come to you. Let's talk about the 2022 draft again. This is where we're at. We're in the middle of building. You draft, you wait about 3 years to see what you have. So while building this team after not being good, in all those other years leading up to, of course, not having any playoff success, yada, 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 you lose your Hall of Fame quarterback. And then, about a year or so later, you are in the draft building for your future. This is to fix the team after Ben Roethlisberger and shape it and mold it to where you want it to be. Finch, Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, DeMarvin Leal, Calvin Austin, Connor Hayward, Mark Robinson, Chris Oladokun. Finch, what's your opinion on this particular draft?
I agree with everything Mike said. He's right. But to play a little bit of devil's advocate on this, just to make it interesting.
Yeah, please.
How many years, if we go every single year, and not just with the Steelers, probably with most NFL teams, winners and losers, if you go every year and look at every draft pick, how many are you going to pick out from every season that turned out to be superstars, right? There might be 1 or 2 every year. And a good draft is when you have 3 players that are good, right? Like not even
like
great.
a Philadelphia Eagles the past 5
when you
years.
get like one really solid player who might be an all-pro, but then you get 2 other guys in the same draft who are just those solid contributors who play like 10 years and you never hear their name called, but they're always playing and they're always like right on the edge of being Pro Bowl. You know what I'm talking about? That's a good draft. And the Steelers in the early 2000s were getting those kind of drafts. You can go back and look in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. We were getting 2 and 3 guys per draft that played with us for a few years on and got better. We haven't seen that much lately. But once again, the NFL is set up in a way to disallow a team to just draft tons of talent all the time, unless you're from Philadelphia somehow. But you know what I mean? That's the nature of the beast of the NFL. The Steelers are lucky to have 3 players left on the team from 3 years ago. Isn't the average player tenure in the league like 3 seasons or something anyway?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, and George Pickens, I mean, it's sad to see him go because he is a good player and his attitude sucks, but he isn't the worst attitude player we've had in Pittsburgh. In Dallas is the perfect place for that kind of person, George Pickens. Yeah. He's going to be dancing all over that blue star in a few weeks. And we're just going to be laughing at him and just happy he ain't here doing it here. So
they'll hate him before you know it in Texas.
They'll hate him before you know it, man. I'm sure Jerry's probably already had him over for dinner last night, and they're just becoming best of buds today just so Jerry can stab him in the back tomorrow.
And you got to think at Jerry Jones. You always got to say this guy was personally responsible, in my opinion, because 30 years ago, he became the first team to beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl. And guess what? He has not been back to the NFC Championship ever since that year. So you know what?
Barely won any playoff games since then. Well, like 2 or 3 playoff games since then.
And they've always had their guy. They've always liked Tony Romo. They always liked Dak Prescott. It wasn't like they were never able to find their guy. They were content with these guys.
These were good quarterbacks. Tony Romo and Dak Prescott are both solid quarterbacks. They're better than average quarterbacks in the NFL. Starters, and it's just that Jerry just could never put a whole team around it. You know what I mean? It sucks. If you're a fan of the Cowboys, it sucks to be.
Yeah, those guys just didn't have it. The it factor that Ryan likes to talk about.
Tony Romo did great for my fantasy team.
So does Dak. Dak does great for my fantasy team.
Great on my fantasy team. I picked him every year for like 5 straight years, and Tony Romo always came through.
Richard on the board says next year will be the tell the tape of Omar's first draft class. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard
is doing a better job. I hope you're right. Again, we will take a look at next year's draft. We're going to take a look at, we'll continue to monitor all the drafts. I'm going to come back to Derpy here, Derpy, because this is an Ohio State, a Big Ten heavy draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. No two ways about that between Iowa, Ohio State, and I think even somebody else was in there. Oregon, I think Oregon, aren't they?
Yeah, Big Ten, baby.
They're Big Ten now. So Derpy, I'm going to come back to you on this one. Who do you particularly like Will Howard, or are you kind of you're the Ohio State guy and you wanted your guys picked, and I understand that. And I did the same thing with a couple of my guys over the years. But do you think, and don't get me wrong, Will Howard seems to really love the idea of being a Pittsburgh Steeler. Everything I'm seeing that this guy is just thrilled to death. Derpy, again, this is kind of a loaded question because you don't know what this team's going to do next year in the draft. I mean, you have an idea what they want to do. But Derpy, what do you realistically think is Will Howard's or Derpy go?
Really?
He's like, you know what? I don't want to answer this question. Boom, and then drop.
It better be a connectivity issue or something major going on. But my God!
Oh, that was awesome.
So we will wait for Derpy. I don't know what that was. We get to spackle his ass cracker. That's right. If he doesn't come back, we're spackling his ass crack. It's gonna be a Friday special, everybody.
Jesus.
So I guess I'm going to abandon that question.
Yeah.
Tailored especially for Derpy.
Exactly. Hollywood
it's like
Derpy.
When you're scolding your 5-year-old child, and in the middle of the conversation, they just turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
I'm about to ground Derpy.
Like I do with my kid. Awesome. Derpy, right here, bud. Right
I'm about to ground him. If he's not back by the end of the show, I'm grounding him. He's on probation.
Can I address the draft class again, the 2022 draft?
Richard, he is ever since he became Hollywood Derpy.
Yeah,
and he started his own show here on the network. He's always too busy.
Always too busy.
He's about to be on. Yeah, he's about to be on probation here in the next hour. So let's hope that doesn't happen, guys. Let's hope that Derpy does show up. Derpy would be a great politician, Tortilla Jackson says.
Yeah,
dodging the questions. I'm not afraid to say he's the guy. Will Howard, and that's kind of what I wanted from Derpy. I wanted to see what he had to say, being a career, lifelong Ohio State fan. But
really, Derpy got sucked up by the ether. This is.
But guys, now that we are talking about rookies, we're talking about young players. Yeah. Guys, this is the top 15 quarterbacks. The top 15 quarterbacks on rookie contracts, guys. Because a lot of guys find their guys in the draft who they believe is their guy. This is the top 15 quarterbacks still on rookie contract in the league, guys. Number one on this list, of course, is Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is listed as the number one quarterback, still on a rookie contract, getting his team, the Washington Commanders, to the NFC Championship game in just a rookie season with a team that I think they improved, but they shouldn't have been in an NFC Championship game last year. Guys, let's move on. Number two, CJ Stroud.
Yep.
CJ Stroud. These are the top 15.
It feels like he's been in here forever. It feels like he's been in the league
Right.
for 10 years. Been hearing his name forever. It's like, how the heck is he still on a rookie contract?
Right. Yeah, and it gets more interesting, believe me, as this list goes on.
It's...
Number 3 of the top 15 quarterbacks still on rookie contracts, guys, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Make or break year for Brock.
It certainly is. I want to see what Brock has now.
Yeah, I root for that guy. I find myself rooting for that guy.
You know, some guys, they come into a good situation, they do good. Some guys come into a bad situation, they do bad. I want to see what you have after that. I want to see what you have after your rookie contract, after the team wasn't, you know what I mean? So, Brock Purdy, number 3. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I was going to say, this is a potential $200 million year for Brock Purdy.
Right. This is the make or break for this guy. Mr. Irrelevant. Either becomes, $200 million quarterback or works on his way of being shit out the bottom of the league, guys. Number 4 on this list is Bryce Young. Bryce Young, again, top 15.
Yeah, he showed a lot of growth last year. Too bad it wasn't actual physical growth in his height, but like his play after his benching, I'm starting to root for the kid. I wasn't a big fan of him, but the way he battled.
The thing that pissed me off about Derpy is it had to happen during the time he got the question asked to him.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been any other point. It was right when he had the question asked.
That's what made it so funny.
This is what's going on. This is
why he's getting fired today.
Yeah, this is why he is not on the top 15 of third man in a 2-man booth.
I'm not going to fire him, but he'll be
the
on
rest
probation.
of his day. The rest of the day, his name is Bitch.
Yeah,
we will not refer to him as Derpy. He is.
That's
Bitch.
right. Like on Mark McGlone's next question, Bitch got distracted by a naked midget.
It broke out of its cage. He had to go put it back. He had to go hurt him.
Number 5, guys. Number 5 on the top 15 quarterbacks still on rookie contracts in the NFL. Of course, 1 was Jaden Daniels, 2 CJ Stroud, 3 Brock Purdy, 4 Bryce Young. Number 5, guys, whether you agree or whether you don't agree, Drake May. Drake May lands at the number 5 spot in top 15 quarterbacks still on a rookie contract.
He could have a breakout year this year.
He's tough. He's going to be a good quarterback, guys. He's a solid quarterback.
He's better than I thought he would be. I'm okay to admit that.
He's very quarterbacky.
Yeah,
he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I just wasn't a fan of him, but hey,
right. It's hard to like quarterbacks out of North Carolina. I'm going to be honest.
Exactly. Where
if I was getting a shooting guard, I would be happy.
Yes.
Number 6 on the list, gentlemen. Finch, I'm sorry, you could certainly use this tonight on your show. Number 6 is Caleb Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb Williams is 6th on the top 15 quarterbacks still on the rookie contracts. Number 7, fellas, Bo Nix. Bo Nix.
He was a surprise too.
Boy, you ain't.
I thought like when that pick came through, I'm like, oh my god. This is terrible.
I thought they were a 2 to 4 win team last year. He made that team. I don't remember if they made the playoffs or not, but they were really close for Bo Nix and company. So I was very surprised by that.
Yeah, he played very, very well.
The next guy on the list, guys, is not played a snap yet in the NFL. Of course, the number 1 pick overall this year, Cam Ward. Cam Ward, guys, is next on the list of the top 15 rookies, quarterbacks still on rookie contracts. Not much to say about him because we haven't seen him again play yet. Down.
Has he been signed?
What's that?
Not even signed yet.
Yeah, he's not even signed yet. How does he have a rookie contract? He's not
who does? Well, he's going to be on rookie because he's going to be playing somewhere.
Yeah,
no two ways about that.
Splitting hairs there, Finchy.
Yeah, you're really splitting hairs.
Being very pedantic.
Next guy on the list, guys. I'm not a big fan of this name, but and you know what? I wasn't a big fan of him in the playoffs last year when I seen him play. Michael Penix Jr. Guys, Michael Penix was not a guy that I was ever thrilled with again in Atlanta. Picked while they had 13 other quarterbacks on their roster. I don't know what they're doing, but Michael Penix Jr. guys is next on the list.
Well, time will tell on him.
Time will tell.
Yeah, like he showed flashes, but I don't know. I wasn't a big fan either.
Did they flash their Penix? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, they did.
Number 10 on the list is JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy won a national championship. Basically the same thing we're looking at with what we have, guys. The national championship winning quarterback. I am always against getting this guy because that guy never tends to be what he is in college when it's all said and done. I mean, where was Patrick Mahomes? He wasn't winning national championships.
No.
Where was Josh Allen? He wasn't winning national
Oh
championships.
God, no, he wasn't even D1.
So you're looking at this, and number 10 is JJ McCarthy, and they're putting all their eggs in that basket, guys, because they sent Sam Darnold down the road to Seattle, and that's their guy, JJ McCarthy, after being gone out all season as a rookie, coming in next on this list.
And he was carried on that Michigan team. He wasn't asked to
That's
do
what I
a whole
thought.
lot with his arm. He was asked to be like a Trent Dilfer, make a couple throws here and there, but don't lose the game for us because we, good dominant running backs and a damn good defense.
Next on this list, guys, Richardson, Mike Anthony Richardson. Yeah, this is where we're at on the list.
He was a boom or bust project, and he's looking very bust, like a huge bust.
Pamela Anderson bust.
Yes.
Oh, she's looking bad lately, huh?
Ooh, rough.
Wow.
Ugh.
I was surprised.
I thought it was
By her own volition, by the way.
Yeah, right. Next on this list, guys, is Aiden McConnell. Aiden McConnell, next on the list here. I believe he's with the Raiders. Raiders quarterback.
Last I saw,
he was with the Raiders.
It was.
Guys, we're down to just the last three. This is the top 15 quarterbacks still on rookie contracts. Mike Finch, possibly the season opening starter for the Cleveland Browns, Kenny Pickett. And the thing about Cleveland, they have all guys that are possibly first week starting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Between Kenny, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel. I mean, come on, even Shedeur Sanders, which I'm sure he's not going to be. Every one of them quarterbacks could be Cleveland's quarterback in week one, right?
I don't hate Cleveland for picking up Kenny Pickett. I think that was a good call on their point. He's going to be, I think we've said it before. We always thought he was kind of going to be like a 10-year backup guy. That guy who can come in and play that one game in the season when your starter gets hurt. I think he's a good pickup for the Browns. I mean, we make fun of him all the time. He does have the tiny little.
It's perfect for the Browns. It's
perfect for the Browns. Now, was him behind Flacco? I think is the most likely bet. But the Browns are going to Brown, man. If somehow, some way, Sanders will probably end up starting a game next year.
Oh yeah,
So.
I think so.
Yeah. Hopefully in Pittsburgh, it would be the greatest thing ever.
I want Kenny to start and get injured, not hurt, and then Shedeur has to come in and we get to see both of them. It would be perfect. But back to Kenny real quick. I'm not a big Kenny Pickett guy, but I think he's better than Aiden O'Connell. I think he's better than Anthony Richardson right now.
There's a scrappiness to him that makes him good.
Yeah,
and you know what? Now I look back at what he did at Pitt. That's what it was. It was his scrappiness that made him successful. And he doesn't have a lot of the other things that you need to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But that's a strong attribute that he does have.
He has the it factor.
He has an it factor.
That Favre had that. Namath had that.
Because he managed to come in as a rookie. He won a lot of games on a team that wasn't that good. He managed to win plenty of games the second year on a team that wasn't that good. People are always going to joke and say he was a backup on a Super Bowl team, but I mean, for what it was, he threw more touchdowns than interceptions.
Everything he had to do to win that ring.
He did everything right as a Philadelphia Eagle. But again, he did a lot on a team that really didn't give him much around him as a rookie that never played it down in the NFL. He had a above 500 record, and again his second season. So it's hard to really come down on Kenny like a lot of these other guys, I think, because he does have something about him. Is he going to be that guy for somebody? Probably not. Yeah, but he does have something that a lot of these other guys don't have.
Like if you could see him have a magical season, though. He's that guy who could do it one time.
Right.
If he had like Anthony Richardson's talent, he would be a phenomenal quarterback.
No doubt.
He has like that it factor. He can make those game-winning throws where I'm sitting there, oh, this game's lost, and Ryan's like, nope, he's going to make it, and he did it. I'm like, what the hell? But throughout the game, he sucks.
Yeah.
But when you needed him, he came through. So I would love to have him as a backup quarterback because he gives you that little spunk when you need it.
And also, Mike, you got to think
he would be the perfect heir apparent to Charlie Batch in Pittsburgh. He would be just sit him on the bench.
And how many games did he lead the Steelers back to victory that year? It was very unconventional.
Very, very.
But the fact of the matter was he was the leader amongst comeback wins in the league as a rookie. So again, not terrible.
Yeah.
I think ultimately he does. He's not going to be one of these guys that you want.
No.
But at the end of the day, there's something about him. He's going to make a bad team he's gonna make them
Yeah.
give them an okay quarterback one day. And
Yeah.
as Finch said, he may have one of them magical seasons. I wouldn't put that out.
He's a perfect bridge quarterback, perfect backup quarterback to have, because he will do something wildly incredible to get you a win, but he'll also do something wildly incredible to lose you a game. That's going to help you get a better draft pick.
I mean, he didn't turn the ball over a lot. His issue
Kenny Pickett is going to be the next Doug Flutie in 10 years.
All right. That's
what it's going to be. He's going to have one of those. He's going to like have a half season where he like wins like 8 out of 9 games and takes this team to the Super Bowl.
Well, again, if you put a decent team around him, he might be able to do that. We were not a good team.
A modern day Trent Dilfer.
Once again, good.
Trent Dilfer
he's the best pickup that the Browns
Trent Dilfer,
made.
he had a good run, but
Rich Gannon.
Rich
good
Gannon,
run at 1-2 seasons.
The Rich Gannon was way better.
Yeah, he put up a lot of yards in his career. Let's catch up on some of these messages on the board, though, guys. Tortilla Jackson says, "From now on, I refer to bitch as Bitch Lewinsky." All right, I like that. I like that. John says, "I want bitch in a blue dress next week." That's right. Next week he's in a blue dress on the show. I don't care what anybody says. That's his parole. That's his probation.
He show his face on here. Why would he show himself in a blue dress?
Well, that's part of the lure. I don't want to see his face. I'm going to be honest. Tortilla, he says, "Bitch Lewinsky always hiding under the table." Maybe that's what he is. Maybe he's just under the table, guys. Mike,
not under mine, thankfully.
Kenneth, I see Milrow as another Richardson.
Yeah, boomer bust right there with Milrow.
007 says that's a crowded quarterback room for the Browns. No two ways about it. Kenneth goes on to say Kenny sucks. When teams learn what Kenny can do, it's over. He can't read certain defenses, and maybe that would be part of the maturization of Kenny Pickett through his career. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying he's great. I'm just saying he managed to come in a team that didn't have a lot going on, and he went over 500 both times.
Got to give him that.
He's in the thing with him. He's a little dude. He's a little dude. And Kenny was he's going to deal with a lot of injuries. When he got hit, he got hurt. And,
big time, yeah.
Even though he's scrappy, that seems to be part of his downfall. After a stellar preseason, I thought Kenny was talking. You know what? We were,
a lot of people were.
With the perfect preseason. He went 3-0, and I think he went 158.3 on his QB rating or something crazy.
Right.
I talked myself into like he was going to be a decent quarterback.
Yeah.
Even that might have been too high.
Well, he did just as well as the future Hall of Famer Russell Wilson did, and as far as getting this team wins. I'm not blowing him up, believe me, but he's my guy from Pitt. So we will talk a little bit about him.
That's fair. That's how I am with my guys from certain guys from Penn State. I'll defend them till I die.
Number 14, guys, Malik Willis.
He showed up. He's showing some growth and flashes up there in Green Bay. They have something going up there.
Is he the heir apparent, Mike, to the Jordan Love, the way that they are successfully groomed their starting quarterbacks in Green Bay?
No, I think just to be a nice, solid backup up there. I think that's what they're grooming him to be. I don't think they see him as the heir apparent to Jordan Love. I think it's just going to be a backup, or hey, if a team wants to take a flyer on him, float like a later round draft pick on him or something. But I think he's just going to be a nice, steady backup up there for him.
Tortilla says, "I was convinced Kenny would be the next, the new Peyton Manning." That's the way that they made it seem, believe me. And number 15, guys, the final guy on the top 15 rookie contract quarterbacks, guys, top 15. This is number 15 out of 15. Finch mentioned on the board just a few seconds ago. Jalen Milrow is the 15th out of 15 top 15 quarterbacks on rookie contracts. Mike, Finch, Jalen Milrow.
If he can work on those mechanics and get them cleaned up, yes. If not, he could be a damn good running back in this league. But if he can't get that throwing mechanics down, it's over for him as a quarterback, because it's just horrendous.
He has a lot of upside.
Yes.
He has a lot of upside. He has a high ceiling, but he's very awkward to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's a weird-looking dude when he throws the ball. I don't know how that's going to translate to the NFL. But you know what? He was worth a pick, I think.
007, this is kind of my thought. This is my fantasy. 007 says, "Can the Steelers use the third pick they got from the Cowboys to move up the draft to snag Arch Manning?" In fact, if Arch Manning does come out next season, they'll certainly use their draft picks, I think, to get a quarterback, whether it be Arch, whether it be, there are some other good names that are going to be coming out next year. It's going to be a pretty decent quarterback draft, guys. But
it's going to take more than just that third.
there's and we have 12 picks, so
yeah, it's probably going to, like, if it's Arch or whatever quarterback they want, it's going to be next year's first too, this year's first.
Yeah.
Possibly a second and a third, or a third and something else too.
But Mike, if you're getting your guy, isn't that
you do it, man?
You do what you got to do.
Yeah, and and it all depends on what team you're trading with too, because Cleveland kind of knew they had Jacksonville where they wanted him, because Jacksonville wanted to trade up to 2 to get their guy, and they moved up 3 spots and had to give up next year's first round pick to do it, plus some other stuff. So that third rounder could be used in there or used in later trade packages to move up into the second round too, maybe get another second round pick, get a high end first round pick, get 2 second round picks with all those third round picks. That's why that George Pickens trade doesn't scare me as much, because all the draft capital we have now.
And that draft capital is going to go a long way. This is going to be a big draft, guys, next year. 2026 in Pittsburgh, it's going to be huge. Believe me, with 12 draft picks, guys, it's going to be a blast. And again, I think we got our eyes on some quarterbacks. So let's just muscle through this year. Let's just muscle through. Let these rookies get a season in. Let the second year guys get another year under their belt. I think then after that, we could start talking about competitive Steeler football seasons. Again, I'm not saying the next year's not going to be competitive. It might be competitive as hell. I think it's going to be very similar to what we've seen over the past 2-3 seasons. But again, once you get your guy, look what it does for teams. Look what it did for us for 20 years. Look what it does for the Buffalo Bills. Look what it does for the Chiefs. Getting your guy is the most important thing in the NFL. Guys, Tortilla says I would put Dart over Milroe, at least this season.
Yeah, I would have too.
Kenneth Jones says, I don't see us getting close to Manning in the draft. I think what it's going to come down to is all those picks. Kenneth, again, 12 draft picks. And if you give somebody your number 1 and your number 2, you'd be surprised on what kind of action that gives you in the draft.
And if it works out to where these teams who have young quarterbacks that are committed to them finish there and they don't need a quarterback, you can trade with them. But, they're going to demand a king's ransom, because they know, like, you want to come up and get this guy. And leapfrog teams, you're going to have to pay for it. But, 12 draft picks, man, that's a lot.
You can make some stuff happen.
Yeah.
And you know what? Only one of them, Mike, is a 7th round pick. People are going to say, well, what are you going to give them all these 7-round picks? We have 1 out of 12 picks, 7th round pick.
Yeah. And like I said, don't be afraid to trade the 2027 first round pick.
Right. That's all.
Because if you get your rookie and he plays the way you think he is going to come in and be like a Ben, a CJ, a Jaden Daniels, that's fine, because you're going to be picking in the low 20s.
Yeah.
Because you have all your team around you.
And that's it, Mike. I mean, you hit it right on the head. Kenneth says maybe we'll get the hometown host draft position to get Manning. Mike, you make a great point. You can get your 2027 number 1 pick away. That's that's gold in draft talk. And if you give up your number 1 pick next year and you to move up and your number 2, I mean, this is gold. People, I think we could get our guy again. Maybe this is the stroke of genius that Omar Khan and company's been painting that we just haven't been able to see until it actually comes to fruition, guys. Next year's draft is huge.
Mortgage the 2027 draft year, load up in the 2026, because like quarterbacks, wide receivers right now are talked about as being premium positions, a ton of talent expected to come out. Fuck it, draft a couple wide receivers, draft 2 quarterbacks, 1 early, 1 mid-round, and then you have Will Howler too, and you have nice 3 quarterbacks in there. You're eventually, you would think, take the Mark Malone approach, you're going to find a quarterback out of one of those 3 guys.
I do want to get back to Tortilla. He says no Will Levis, no Spencer Rattler. What do you guys think of Spencer Rattler?
No. Not a big fan of him. He's probably going to get beat out by Tyler Shuck down in the Saints. And Will Levis, he makes a squirrel running through traffic look poised.
Kenneth goes on to say, building out the team now short of the quarterback, we can give a lot away.
Yep,
absolutely. I listen. Like I said, if this is all the grand scheme here, it could be really good. Yeah, go ahead.
To highlight Kenneth's point right there, this is why we have some of the best viewers, best fans of our podcast, because you don't see this comment anywhere else from Steeler fans on other media platforms. They're all crying and whining about what we're doing. Kenneth gets it. Tortilla gets everyone on this board right now.
Absolutely
gets what the Steelers are doing. They might not agree with it, but they get it.
I learn something from them every day. Believe me, you know what I mean?
So you guys are fucking awesome.
Yeah, no two ways about it. Tortilla says maybe Arch pulls an Eli and says he only wants to go to a good franchise.
Right.
Well, hey, let's hope that
he might have a little better media savvy and interview savvy than Shedeur trying to pull it off too.
Mike, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. Finch, I'm going to come to you. Shedeur Sanders is suing $100 million lawsuit for severe emotional distress. Is this should this even be a thing?
Who is he suing? I didn't hear this story.
I don't know. For him drafting so low, he's suing somebody. Go to the NFL News. Go to NFL News, and it's going to be in there in your NFL News articles. He's suing. I
thought it was a fan of Shedeur Sanders.
A fan is suing for $100 million?
Yeah, a fan. It's not Shedeur. It was a fan. Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah, it was a fan. Yeah.
I have no words. This is stupid. This is
even stupider than Shedeur.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a fan, and what I saw is people were a fan. People were saying it's secretly Mel Kiper Jr. suing for $100 million.
Continue to talk. I'm trying to pull it up real quick here, guys.
Yeah, I buy that. Yeah, Mel Kiper, he's always looking for whatever it takes to get his face on TV.
Yeah, this lawsuit is going to get laughed out of court. It's gonna you can probably find an attorney try and do it to get their name out there, but any judge is going to look at this and go, "No, get the hell out of my courtroom. This has no basis in reality."
I would call Edgar Snyder.
Can I? Tortilla says, "Can I sue for not having a quarterback one?"
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
You know what? If this
Class
goes
action
through,
lawsuit,
these
baby.
Steelers are giving me emotional stress.
Damn right they are. I've had several mild heart attacks over the past 2 or 3 seasons. But isn't that the kind of entitled idea that comes with? I mean, come on, you're mad because somebody didn't get drafted. You got mental distress, and you're suing for $100 million. I think it's even more interesting that it is a fan, but I think that it would be hilarious if it was Shedeur. Let's see, Roger Murray, my friend. Good afternoon to you, sir. A good franchise already has a quarterback. Interesting. I like that. That's philosophy. Tortilla, there are plenty of good franchises that don't have a good quarterback. I'm sorry. Kenneth goes on to say Roger Murray, a quarterback, but not the quarterback for the next several seasons. Only a few teams have that. And then finally, guys, for Pittsburgh Steelers scoop, George Pickens comes out and says, Finch, that he's not focused on his contract season. He's just excited to be playing alongside CeeDee Lamb in Dallas. How long before he becomes a huge headache in Dallas? Does he get a contract past this season? Does he keep it together this season to maybe be able to get a big contract from Dallas? And even if it's not from Dallas, is he able to keep it together enough while being productive to get picked up by somebody with that big wide receiver contract?
He's going to do well in Dallas. As long as Dak Prescott can stay healthy, which is a real problem for him. If Dak can stay healthy and George can draw some of the ire away from CeeDee Lamb on the other side, I think the two of them are going to strive and have good seasons, and I think George will earn a big contract from Jerry Jones. If George just keeps himself in check for 17 games this year, let's face it, he's probably not going to play more than that. If he could keep it in check for one season, Jerry will throw the money at him, and he's definitely capable of earning or capable of getting the yards and touchdowns required to earn the big money.
Where do you see,
especially with a guy on the other side like CeeDee Lamb?
Finch, where do you see George Pickens in 5 years?
I mean, tired out of the NFL. I think he's going to get a big contract. He's going to get the money, and he's just going to fade away.
And maybe things get just so bad because he's a nut, and maybe he'll walk away.
Right, he'll end up
Antonio
not playing
Brown
for a team that'll do the right thing for him. You know what I mean? He's not going to go to a Kansas City or Baltimore, teams that have chances to win the Super Bowl every year. He's going to end up hanging out with teams that are pretenders like the Cowboys. He'll get a big contract there. He'll suck there after 3 or 4 seasons, whether it's an attitude problem or not. But either way, he'll fade out. And then you'll see him in like Tampa Bay for his last year.
Tampa, they always tend to take a guy like that for a year.
Yeah, Tampa Bay or the Raiders. It's always those two teams. Funny enough, you know what I mean?
We come to you, Mike, for Kenneth's question. Kenneth says, "Can George actually do this?" This is the question. Can he be? Where do you see George Pickens in 5 years?
I see him still in the league. I hope he gets his head right because he's a fun receiver to watch play. Good play. You know,
As long as he's not making mistakes on your team, you might enjoy watching him more.
Exactly. So I hope he finds a home, gets his attitude right. Because I know how I acted when I was 24 years old. I was a dick, even worse than I am now.
Listen, if you were 24 and people threw millions at you, would you? I think I would
know.
act different.
I don't know. I would try to lock it up, but I don't know.
I would tighten it up if people are paying me $1 million for my job.
Yeah.
I would tighten it up. I think that I'd be smart enough to be able to do that.
But I don't think he's going to be on Dallas next year. They have a lot of free agents to sign, and Micah Parsons is going to want a monster contract and shit like that. So they're going to have issues there. But if George can take a backseat to CeeDee Lamb to be the number 2, and if Dak can stay healthy, he should be able to put up a damn good season. Stay in the lines. Don't do anything stupid. You're going to make a shit ton of money in the offseason, dude. And, and the way like CeeDee Lamb is more, they use him everywhere, outside, inside, through the middle. That's going to open up more space for George. And this should be George's best season as a pro. But, you have Dak Prescott. Say what you will about him, but Dak Prescott is a great regular season
dude. He could hurl the ball, dude.
Yeah.
And he's never had that CeeDee Lamb character position player on the other side either, Mike.
Right.
So that's going to open him up a lot compared to how he's been able to get open. And he can make a lot of contested catches, is what I'm saying. So give him some opening, as opposed to the way that it's been, Mike. Then it's going to be a very interesting time in Dallas. And and as we were saying, let's see how this even plays out. I mean, he does have this season in Dallas. Who knows what's going to happen after that? Mm-hmm. But if he was a smart guy, he would go out there and try to make his best season ever. Let's get back into some of these messages, guys. Tortilla Pickens in 5 years will be in Snow Bunny heaven.
That made me laugh so hard.
Also, John says, I rate Art Rooney a victim impact statement after each season. George can be a Deontay Johnson journeyman. You know what, Deontay Johnson, is there going to be any AFC North team he doesn't play for when it's all said and done?
He has to get to the Bengals next year.
He's got to get to the Bengals.
Or this year. Play a couple games with the Browns, get cut, go to the Bengals.
I didn't see him being a Raven and a Cleveland Brown in a year's time before he went there when he was in Carolina.
He would actually be awesome in Cincinnati. I think he would be a number 3, perfect role for him there.
Tortilla says, AKA Texas. Fan not Sanders. Okay, yeah, fan not Sanders. Again, I think that makes it even weirder. Again, I could see it with him because he's so entitled and just kind of has that. Where's the fan from? Is it a fan from?
I don't know. I forget. I got rid of the story, but yeah. But I think it was just a fan of Shador, so probably from a Colorado Buffalo fan.
Okay. What's up, Ralph? How you doing, brother? On the board, guys. But we are going to move along a little bit here because we are. We got a lot of things that's going on this weekend as far as sports. Mike, I want to talk about the Gals, the Pittsburgh Passion. They are back in action, Mike, after taking after going 1-0, starting their season down in Tampa Bay against the Inferno 2 weeks ago. They're back in action tomorrow as they travel to Philadelphia to play their game at 6:00 p.m. and it will be on YouTube. So do look for the Gals. They're a lot of fun, and of course, Makai Chavez, who was on the show, she's amazing. She runs circles around people. It's a lot of fun to watch her. I expect this team to go all the way this year, Mike, and I wouldn't be surprised if she was the MVP once again. But still early, a lot of season to go. She did it while breaking a bone last year.
Yeah,
I like our chances, Makai.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is the year we get back to the championship.
Let's see. Also, the other football team here in Pittsburgh, Mike, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They play again. Of course, they advanced in the tournament, the big Lamar Hunt U.S. World, whatever it is, tournament. They won the other day, a big upset over New York, but they're back in action in regular season this weekend, Mike. They do play the Louisville FC team. That game is at 7:30 tomorrow.
Let's go Hounds, baby. We might have a chance for 2 championships this year.
Hey, you know what? The Hounds and the Passion looking really good, guys.
Yeah.
Also, the Riveters, the Pittsburgh Riveters, who are the female soccer team, professional team that is starting their inaugural season this year. They kick off next Friday against the Cleveland Fire. So we'll be watching with the with the Pittsburgh Riveters. The gals are doing on the soccer field. And not to mention that, guys, the WNBA, which I fell in love with last year with all these amazing names coming out from the draft in college football or college basketball, guys. The WNBA is in preseason right now. So if you're wondering what the ladies of the WNBA world are doing, they're in preseason, and it will be underway before you know it. And Mike, the other football league, the UFL, we'll be seeing them this weekend as well, as they do have 4 games as usual. This is week 7 for the UFL. Tonight they do play the DC Defenders. That's your squad. You like the DC team. They play San Antonio, the other black and gold team. That game is 8 o'clock tonight. Saturday, Michigan at Arlington. That's a 1 o'clock game tomorrow. And then 2 UFL games on Sunday as Houston takes on Birmingham at noon and St. Louis takes on Memphis at 3 o'clock p.m.
Beer snake. That's all I got to say about my DC Defenders after we got blown out last week.
Guys, the other big replacement of the week, of course, we replaced the Pope. We replaced the Pirates head coach.
Yes.
I'm not going to put my bag on yet because I'm not talking about the play quite yet. But, guys, the Pittsburgh Pirates did hire a Butler native. He was a Mountain Lebanon graduate. He went to Point State Park College. He was the bench coach for the Pirates for 2020. Just another weak hire, an interim coach, of course, but depending on what they do moving forward, this could just be another weak hire. I think that out of all the people that could be fired from the Pirates organization for the performance, the head coach is the biggest scapegoat of them all. You only give him X amount of talent. He puts them out on the field. They don't do good. You fire him. You're the one that's not bringing in the talent. The talent's the people that's not performing. The guy in the middle who just writes out the lineup card, he's the one that gets canned again, of course. Derek Shelton fired Don Kelly, the new interim coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mike, Pirates, they do start a series.
There's
today.
the bag. I was wondering where this was.
There it is.
This is the usual Mother's Day weekend Atlanta Braves series. This happens every year in Pittsburgh. Mother's Day weekend, Atlanta Braves in town for 3. Game 1 tonight at 6:40. This is a Bailey Falter start. It's game 1 of 3. Game 2 is tomorrow at 4:05. Haney is on the bump tomorrow. Sunday, they wrap it up at 1:35. Carmen Majinski will be starting on Sunday, and then they're off to New York to play the Mets on Monday, and then start a road trip after that. Looks like, Mike, the Pirates are 12-26 coming into this series.
Yeah.
And the Braves, though, they are the Braves, 18-19. They're only one game under 500. The Atlanta Braves are. But you know what? The Cardinals were 3 games under 500 when they played the Pirates. They sweep the Pirates to go on to at least a 500 record, Mike. The Atlanta Braves, any chance the Pirates win 2 or 3 of these games against a bad Atlanta Braves team?
Maybe the Saturday game with Haney pitching. That's the one I'm looking at.
And then once they start the Mets, and then you have Paul Skeens, and then you have Mitch Keller, and then it starts over. So, you know what? It's the Braves. We just generally don't have any luck with this team. We play them every year this weekend. I don't expect the results to be any different than they were any year in the past, Mike, with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Atlanta this weekend.
And like Haney, he's 2-3, but he's 33rd in ERA at 3.18, and 31st in WHIP 1.1. So he surprised me. Haney did. I thought he was just going to be another reject, and he's not doing bad for what the Buccos have. And Ryan, with the new bag on the head, the recycle symbol, that is perfect for the Pirates because all we do is recycle other teams' shit.
You know what? Mike Sullivan gone. Derek Shelton gone. All within a week's time. We still love our football coach, guys.
He ain't going nowhere, baby.
I'm not saying he's going anywhere. I'm not saying. I've never said that. I'm saying, do we still love our football coach, guys? Question.
Ask me after the season.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
No.
Tortilla says DJ would be a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Passion. So would Bitch. I mean, Durfee. He could be on that team too. But John goes on to say Ryan can do the tube snake boogie. That's right. You don't want to see my costume for the tube snake boogie.
Ooh. Where's the extra hole in the mouth where you're gonna
That's
put on the
right.
side? Yeah,
He's gonna give you.
That's
a
not my
pearl
bong
necklace.
hole, believe me.
no, that's how we're gonna raise revenue so the Pirates can actually spend for free agents.
That's right. Should be called the Beaver Hounds, which would be fitting. Which would be fitting in the area because there are a lot of beaver towns.
A lot of beaver in this area.
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely. Mike, before we do move on, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
As I take a drink.
Did you see how I did that? I was
I knew you were. I was waiting for you to keep.
It was a derpy. I pulled a bitch on you.
You did too, and that was
Boom.
well done, well executed.
Boom.
Yeah. Tip of the cap, my friend.
All right.
The2dumbyinzers.com. We got our links over there. We got the social media stuff over there. We got the merch store, which has, hold on, I'm pimping it today. The Bob Nothing tee. Sorry, Finch, to cover your face up there, brother. Check
the Bob Nothing tee doesn't get more talked about except for when Finch is on it. It literally,
I know,
is Mike's way of covering Finch every single time.
Yeah,
I've never seen Mike talk about this.
I am the resident bald guy, and Finch. Oh, look, it even sparkles if you leave it up there enough. And we got the blog.
I hate everything.
And I've never seen you put it up without putting it over Finch's face. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
He's making a statement.
And we got the blog over there at the2dumbyinzers.com. Check it out.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Bob Nothing. There it is on the board as Mike's putting it up. And many times also in the chat as well. I do see it popping up, Mike, in different areas there as well. Do check that out. There's plenty of merchandise over at the store. Go check it out, everybody. Guys, let's get into the question of the day. Question of the day. This is a Steelers. Hey, welcome, M10. M10 says Lazard. A lot of people are saying Alan Lazard. We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's knock this question of the day out, guys. This is the schedule, a Pittsburgh Steelers schedule question.
Why, Tortilla? Why?
Here we go. The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers played a regular season game outside of the United States was in 2013 in London. The question of the day is, who did they play? Who did they play that year? Again, the question of the day. The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers played a regular season game outside of the U.S. was in 2013 in London. The question is, who did they play in that game? Take a minute to think it over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on YouTube. Bob nutting on Finch's face. That is the comment of the year. I got to be honest. Finch, you have to have some kind of dropping fucking loads or give me something for that, man.
Dropping fucking loads.
Tortilla said he just can't. Oh my. Tortilla just can't help it.
I'm gonna come.
There you go.
I'm gonna come.
The day. Who was the team that the Steelers played in their last regular season game outside of the United States? I can give you some hints. It was in 2013. It was in London. 007 is guessing Bills. The Bills on the board. Mike, what do you guys think? I'm looking for the team they played outside of the U.S. in their last international regular season game in London in 2013. Finch, I'm going to start with you. 007 saying Bills on the board. Not a whole lot of help on the board. Sometimes you do get some help. Finch, who do you think?
I honestly don't know the answer, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay. Not a bad guess. Not a bad guess. Mike, I'm going to come to you. Let me read it again. The last time the Steelers played a regular season outside of the U.S. was in 2013 in London. Finch says they played Jacksonville. 007 says they played Buffalo. Mike, who did they play?
Finch stole my thunder. Yeah, it's Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the only team that's popping up. I seem to remember them playing in London at one point. Stick with my.
I remember us playing a game versus the Bears internationally as well, but
that was in Mexico.
That was in Mexico.
Yeah,
that one rings a bell. I can't.
I'm going Jacksonville too
for sure.
Yeah, that was in Mexico City. That was the first time I heard the Steelers were told not to wear or bring anything of value because in Mexico City it was a very good chance it could get stolen, robbed, whatever. But that was a Bears regular. Was it preseason or regular? I don't recall.
I think it was like a preseason. Like it was like
yeah.
it was preseason
exhibition.
because that was before they did all the international games. I think.
Tortilla on the board is saying the Panthers. 007 says the Bills. You and Finch says Jacksonville. Let me ask you one last time, gentlemen. I'm going to ask you and lock you in. Is this your final answer, both you guys? Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
All right. I'm locking Finch in place. Mike, final answer?
Final answer, baby.
All right. I'm locking Mike. Here we go, guys. Question of the day. The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers played a regular season game outside the U.S. was in 2013 in London against this team. Get a little help on the board. Guys weren't really sure. I think they just took a stab here, both selecting Jacksonville. Guys, in 2013 in London, the Pittsburgh Steelers played a regular season game against the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings,
wow.
which I didn't remember at all, I'm going to be honest. To remember the details about that Chicago game and not being able to remember the game in 2013, I don't know what that says about me, but 2013, guys, they played the Vikings.
I never knew
we
played
win?
in London.
I feel like we lost.
I forgot we played in London. I knew Mexico.
Yeah.
And we played one in Tokyo too.
Did we?
I think we did.
I don't
like an
remember
exhibition
Tokyo.
game in Tokyo or somewhere in Japan,
Really?
wasn't it? And like Ryan Clark couldn't go because it was a high altitude.
That was I know Denver.
I know that happened in Denver to him, but I think there was like an overseas game. Maybe I'm thinking of a different team, but that seems to ring a bell. And also, I believe the Steelers played a game in Barcelona in the early 90s versus maybe like the 49ers or something.
I'd have to look
Bless
into
you.
that.
Yeah, I believe they played a game in like when Barcelona had the Olympics. It was around that time. There was a football game played in Barcelona as well, and I feel like the Steelers were a part of it.
John says Tomlinitis is a new form of sports herpes. Tomlinitis. How do you get Tomlinitis?
That's a good question. If it's on your lips, that's whew.
Well, you got the Finch? No, I'm finding nothing.
On a Barcelona game. There was a Barcelona football game played in the 90s.
Oh,
and
wait.
For some reason, I'm thinking it was the Steelers.
96 Steelers face San Diego Chargers. Yeah, 1996 Steelers face San Diego Chargers. That's what I'm seeing in Tokyo.
Oh.
Tokyo. Okay, yeah, I knew there was one. That's a lot further back than I thought, but I did remember that. Yeah,
damn.
I wouldn't have if you would have asked
definitely
me for
not Ryan Clark.
Yeah. If you would have asked me for $1 million, I would never would have got that. Finch, you're a very smart person. I would have never.
It's the dumbest things I remember.
Gun to my head, I'd never.
Well, the funny thing about that, if it was 96, I mean, that was right after they went to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that was a very memorable time for myself. But there you go, Finch. Nice, good one, man. Before we do start getting ready to wrap things up for the day, I do want you to go check out tonight, right here on the network, go check out the debut of the Three Gooners. That's right, Finch, Tim, and Ryan. They come back. They dropped the Two Cranky Jagoffs, and now they're the Three Gooners.
Three Gooners.
Check them out tonight at 9:30, live right here. I'm excited, Finch. You know I'm there every week checking things out. Anything standing out that you guys are going to be discussing and talking about tonight? I mean, we got the Pope, we got things going on around the world. Any leak?
My esteemed colleague Tim is a Chicago fan, and evidently the Vatican City is now a fan of Chicago because the new Pope is from Chicago. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Tim and Ryan both have very strong feelings about a certain Shedeur Sanders, and they are just itching to talk about it. Tim's been blowing me up. Some of the just best memes I've ever seen I've been getting from Tim and Ryan the last few days involving Shedeur, most of which are not appropriate for television. But we are definitely going to be chatting about that. And then, whatever else we come up with, we're having a good time. We're going to have some laughs. We're going to have some drinks and be here 9:30 for the Three Gooners, where we will edge you with every conversation.
I cannot wait to get edged by the Gooners tonight, baby. 9:30 tonight right here. Check out Finch, Tim, and Ryan for the debut of the Three Gooners, guys. The Three Gooners. Tortilla Jack says Bob Nothing should be the fourth Gooner.
I welcome Bob Nutting to my show.
What's that?
I welcome Bob Nutting to this show.
You welcome him.
I would love to chat with that guy.
My little extra is this. Mike, take a minute and just bear with me. A couple years ago, it was in our first season. We had a guest, and she was a nudist.
Yes.
Ebony Andrews. And she was a nudist, and she was here on the show. We loved her. and I'm still friends with her. And on my social media, something that I notice a lot is nudists are really into being nude. And you know, you say, okay, well, that's kind of a stupid thing to say. But what I mean by this is, I don't know how many times over the years I've seen her creating dick popsicles or dick cookies or dick, you know what I mean? My question is this: for the nudist world, I don't see enough pussy cookies. I don't see enough vagina popsicles. Why is it always dicks? Just an observation. Because you do
My
always
guess
see
would be.
I finished. They have the ring pops with the dick on it.
Sure, I've
and,
seen them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've had
Gummies
them, of
shaped
course.
like
Right,
penises.
right. You were in Vegas.
My guess is that the majority of people who are doing the bacon are straight women who aren't getting dick.
Mm.
So like older women, maybe straight ladies who are cat ladies, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or in this case, this woman is
Mike,
a nudist, so she
Mike.
has a predisposition for loving the nude body, and maybe
Right.
that's the thing that she loves the most. If I was a baker and I was a nudist and I was into the human body, all my cookies would be shaped like breasts.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say feet, so we're good.
But my thing is this: I mean, you just don't see any.
Mad about that either.
I don't see any pussy cookies anywhere. It's all dick cookies.
Google it, man. I'm sure it's a thing. I feel like
sure.
I have seen labia cookies before.
Really?
It seems like something I feel like I've seen. Yeah, somewhere.
And again,
somehow.
I mean, Ebony's an attractive girl, and you know, I see her update a lot. You know, well, the thing is, she loves it. She loves going up to the nudist camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's her thing, man.
That's her thing. But one thing that I've always noticed, every picture I've ever seen, it's all been dick cookies or dick lollipops or dick crackers.
So she's really into it.
She's
it's
really
like,
into
you know, we all have that one friend who posts like marijuana memes every single day on Facebook, and they always say, "Good morning, I'm having a blunt today." Like those guys. She's like that, but for the female nudist world.
Yes.
Where it's like on the edge of annoying, but at the same time, you're like, you know what, you do.
Yeah, it's dick cookies. It's funny.
Yeah, it's dick cookies.
And
How
you
can
know
you
what
not
else?
laugh? These are coming from three men who almost certainly drew their a lot of dicks in their lives.
Oh, on our desks in school and
on
books
notebooks and
everywhere.
on lockers and shit and
Dicks
on
everywhere.
you know. So like, who
there was a
are
lot
we
of
to judge?
titties though. I drew a lot of titties. That wasn't.
I drew a lot of boobs too. Yeah.
Booty brownies, strawberry short dick. Also, Tortilla saying on the board. But one thing about Ebony, she's a very good volleyball player, Finch. And one thing that is huge at that particular nudist camp is they have the World Championship of naked volleyball every year. Mike, remember we were invited a couple years back to do some work with them, and every year she's an amazing athlete. She's an amazing volleyball player.
Is it co-ed?
Yes. Is it co-ed?
I think it's co-ed, and like you have to pay like membership fees there and stuff.
Right.
She's so good that people pay for her membership. They pay for her to travel around and play in tournaments.
She's that good
at different nudist colonies. If you're that good, they will. Yeah, you're taken care of in that community. It's wild. And anyone interested to go back and listening, go to Two Dumb Users on YouTube. Click videos oldest. It is episode 5. Nudist Talk with
the
Ebony.
5th show we've ever did, guys.
5th show. Nudist Talk with Ebony. It is a very good show, a very insightful show.
If I'm remembering right, she was right here in the studio with us.
Yes,
she came in.
Yes.
She was a really great.
She was great.
Great guest. And as I said,
did she
I
share
still
some
do.
dick cookies with you?
No, she did not.
No dick cookies that day. But I got to tell you, it's often that she does have, because that's, as you said, Finch, that's her thing.
That's what she likes.
That's what she likes, and you know, it's either again the dick popsicles. But my thing was, I just never see any vagina.
Let's see some
vagina. You know what I mean? I want to see a little bit more vagina in the
Virginias.
The Virginias. Man, anything before we get ready to wrap up, Finch? Maybe talk a little bit about your show tonight, because again, I do want people to tune in, go check it out, because it's hilarious, has me laughing every week, from beginning to end, guys. Finch, the 3 Gooners. Give the people a little idea what they're going to be hearing tonight when they tune in.
It's just 3 guys talking massive crap on each other and on the state of the world outside of politics. You know what I mean? In the sports world, we like to talk a lot of garbage. We like to make fun of media. We talk about movies and music and that sort of thing from time to time. And most importantly, we make fun of each other. We like to roast each other. It turns into a roast battle. It becomes the who can make the other guy laugh and spit up all his water or coffee or beer first.
I really like when you guys are doing that with the titles of the movies. And
oh gosh, dude, we have a group chat, and just every day we send like one movie title that's like a pornographic version of a movie title to each other, and I just
Schindler's Fist.
Yeah. Top
and Finch will say the names of these ridiculously funny porno movie names with comparable names to regular movies, and Tim tries not to laugh. I gotta be honest.
Dude, like I wait until he takes a drink on camera. And then his whole face just turns red as he tries not to spit up water all over my carpet. I'm doing this at my own behest. I have to clean up after this guy.
It's good, guys. Tune in tonight, 9:30. They anytime, anywhere between an hour, 2 hours. The guys,
about 9:30 to 11:30, we're on the air.
The guys have a good time, and I got to be honest, I laugh a lot. I'm gonna be there tonight for sure. I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you, as always. We wouldn't do it without you guys. I want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. And everybody at home on the board, in the car. Maybe you're taking a jog around town, in the gym, whatever the case may be.
Maybe you're taking a dump, right?
Maybe you're taking a dump. Or you may be taking a dump when you hear this at a later date and time. We thank you as well. You, the dumper. Yes, you.
I'll be taking a dump when I re-listen to this today.
That's right. I'm taking a dump
right now.
Especially the part
where Derpy was talking. I'm just going to let it fly.
I'm shitting myself right now thinking of Derpy.
Ooh. Boom.
Ooh. Tortilla says you can hit the ball with your penis, Derpy. Oh. Coochie cookies, John. Now, yeah, there you go. Coochie
now
cookies.
You're thinking, bro.
Now
that's what we need. Some cooch cooks.
The cooch cooks. But Mike, anything before we do start to wrap things up for the week, brother? It is Friday. Yes. We've got a lot of things going on through the weekend as far as our sports goes. What do you got, man?
To recap real quick from that game in London, Steelers legend Ziggy Hood, 2 tackles. Steelers all-time great Cam Hayward, 0 tackles, 1 pass defense. Some things never change.
Who's baking the Hood cookies? That's what we need.
Yeah. Finch, what about you? Anything before we wrap it up, dude?
9:30 tonight. See ya.
Gooners.
Again, guys, the Pittsburgh Pirates start 3-game series today against the Braves. Goes all through the weekend. Game 1 is tonight at 6:40 with Bailey Falter on the hill. When we come back on Monday, they'll be heading to New York to start a road trip. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds back in action, taking on the Louisville FC tomorrow at 7:30. A lot of times that is on local TV here in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Passion, our gals, they go to Philadelphia for their 2nd game of the season. That game is 6 o'clock tomorrow. Again, a lot of UFL action all through the weekend. Tonight they do start, and it goes all the way through Sunday. If you just want to have good football, American football on your TV, I always like to have the UFL on throughout the weekend, guys. And again, some big things coming up next week as the Riveters starting their inaugural season, and the WNBA, guys, preseason is underway. So I've been really getting into this WNBA, Mike. I want to follow these gals again. Paige Buchers out of the national championship winning UConn, see what she could do, what she brings to the table. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of things going on through the weekend as far as our sports. A lot of things going on moving forward. We'll certainly keep on top of all the Steelers scoop, getting ready to head into next week with the schedules to be announced Tuesday. Again, the international schedules from around the NFL for this upcoming season will be announced. That is on Tuesday. And the official release of the NFL schedules for all teams is Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. But again, between Monday and Wednesday, you are going to see games pop up, specialty games, Thanksgiving games, games like this. But officially Wednesday, 8 o'clock, guys, we will know what our Steelers got on the table heading into next season. We'll get into that late next week. Once the schedule comes out, figure out what we think the Steelers will do, along with all the other Steelers scoop that we could scrape up in the meantime and keep everybody up to date with. Going to be a lot of fun, guys. So we hope to see everybody back first thing Monday morning to get the new week kicked off. Finch, Mike, Derpy, speak now or forever hold your peace, fellas.
Oh, it's been a fun week, everyone. Can't wait to come back Monday and do it all over again.
All right, everybody, well, thank you so much again. We hope to see everybody back Monday. We hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay safe. The warm weather's coming. It's chilly this week, guys, but the warm weathers are coming. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you first thing Monday. For Finch, check him out tonight on the 3 Gooners. For Mike in the Steelers mobile.
I hate everything!
The Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the 2 Dumb Yinzers. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Later.